We are going back to page 11 in your trail guide book. Down at the bottom, there's a little grayish blue box, and it is talking about agonist, antagonist, and synergist. Before we move into our very first chapter on muscles, we need to understand these three terms. So they're three vocabulary words. An agonist is a muscle or group of muscles that carries out an action. It is also called the prime mover. You will hear me use these terms interchangeably, agonist and prime mover. An antagonist, on the other hand, is a muscle whose action opposes the prime mover. A synergist is a muscle that assists or helps the agonist. See, I use them interchangeably, okay? So let's give an example to illustrate this. I will adjust this right here. I am going to use biceps as the agonist, triceps as the antagonist, and then there's a muscle in here called brachialis that's going to be a synergist, okay? So the movement is flexion of the elbow. In flexion of the elbow, the biceps brachii is the agonist because it is the muscle that is performing the action, the primary action here, okay? Flexion of the elbow is performed by biceps brachii, so that makes it the agonist. At the same time, we have triceps on the opposite side that is opposing the action of biceps. And when we say opposing the action, what we mean is that this muscle would do the opposite, okay? So while biceps is shortening to contract, it shortens, triceps is lengthening. Okay, biceps, or the agonist in this case, is shortening, triceps is lengthening. That makes it the antagonist, okay? Now, at the same time, we have another muscle that is deep to biceps called brachialis. Brachialis sits right about here. Brachialis does the same thing as biceps. It is a synergist because it assists biceps with elbow flexion. Okay, now we can turn this around and we can use triceps as our agonist and biceps as our antagonist. So if I'm talking about extension of the elbow, then triceps is our agonist because triceps is the one that is producing that movement. Triceps contracts and shortens to produce extension of the elbow. And if that shortens, then biceps has to lengthen. So in this case, biceps is that's right, antagonist. Yeah, biceps is the antagonist in this case. There's no synergist here because the only thing on the posterior arm here is triceps. It works alone, but it has 3 heads, so it can do that, right? It's triceps, 3 heads. It's a pretty big muscle back here, so it's got it, it's good. All right, so triceps would be the agonist, biceps would be the antagonist. Okay, like I said, these are on page 11 at the bottom. I suggest that you highlight them or write these terms down in your notebook so that you have them when we get to the next chapter. See you soon.